Hello again guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to Civilization 5. Once again we are rejoining the English civilization in an attempt to pretty much wipe the other civilizations off the corner of a map. Now, I have been asked why I don't just wipe all the other civilizations out completely as opposed to taking just their capitals, which is a valid question. There are a number of different reasons for and against, to be honest. I mean, you don't actually have to destroy the entire civilization. You only have to take and hold the capitals at the end of the game to win. Now obviously when you do take somebody else's capital, like we've got here with Vienna, you usually end up in a situation where you have the civilization you took it from with a neighbouring city, which they could potentially mount a counter-attack from. And wiping them out would certainly resolve that issue. Of course, there's still a chance that a different civilization might actually try and go to war with you and steal that city from you, particularly if you are in a multiplayer game, because other players aren't going to want you to be able to hang on to those particular cities. Also, keeping other civilizations around has the potential benefit that you can trade with them. Now, you may be able to trade resources, or you might have such a high warmonger penalty that they don't let you anymore. There are some certain leaders that let you get away with it, like the Mongols, for example, with Genghis Khan. I can trade with him okay, because he doesn't mind warmongers, because he is one himself. But even if another civilization refuses trade with you, as long as you're not at war, you can still trade with them using your cargo ships or trade caravans. So having cities around that do belong to other civilizations gives you a bit more option of where you can trade to with those caravans and ships. Of course, you can still always trade with the city-states, but it is giving you a bit more option. Now, that's just said that Genghis Khan has gone to war with Kathmandu. Now, Kathmandu is actually my guy, so I may have to take a chunk out of Genghis early on. Another reason, of course, is time constraints. I mean, it would be very, very time-consuming for me to just go around and try and take out every single civilization that there is on the board and take out every single city. So, but I think what we're going to do is, while we're here at Spain, we'll certainly try and finish Seville off. We are going to take a shot at these musicians because we'd rather them not be there. Now, it was my plan, of course, to try and take out Sweden, although they're not going to be too much of a threat, so I may decide just to leave them be for now. I do have a privateer somewhere, but I'm not sure where it's gone, because I was going to use that to try and take out Seville. Now, I do have to be careful, because these the Mongolians are actually getting to a point now where they are becoming a nuisance. I've got a feeling he may even decide to try and go for me at some point, because he's got quite a lot of privateers and things starting to pop up around my borders, which is certainly interesting. I mean, if Sweden do get nasty about stuff, we could certainly deal with them, but I think my concern at the moment is for Spain. We will be going to war with the Mongolians sooner or later anyway. So do I really worry about Helsinki right now? I probably shouldn't. 3 turns. I'm going to get these ironclads up to Kathmandu. It makes things a little bit more difficult for the Mongols to get their units close to it. Even though we're not at war, I am blocking hexes, which is potentially beneficial. I'm not worried about Helsinki. That's not really a problem for me at this point. I will leave the ship of the line here. I may as well have it for a bit of defence. Now, once we get Seville, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it. I'm not sure if it has anything particularly useful there. Now, I do have quite a few trade routes going with Mongolia at the moment, and I'd prefer not to have them break right away. If he does capture Kathmandu, like I said, I can take it back and liberate them. I was thinking about having a look at what I'd need to do to pay him off, so that I could potentially just save Kathmandu for a few more turns. But Kathmandu's got a few units. He's not going to do a lot with just a few privateers, so we'll certainly see what's going on. So let us finish off Seville. We've certainly got enough in the way of damage here to take it right down to nothing. The question is, do I have a privateer nearby? I was sure that I was sending one up here. Seems very stupid of me not to. My privateer just sitting here in Madrid doing nothing. How long are you going to take to get all the way up there? 3 turns. I really should have thought about that earlier. But we will carry on as is. We've got a lot of iron now, so let's have another ship of the line. We've already got one here, actually, so we are going to move around. It may be well worth me declaring war on him at this point. I mean, there are going to be casualties. He's not the highest up on the list. I think we actually went to war with him earlier on. But we really do need to deal with him because he is getting problematic. We could certainly just wipe out his armies. Of course, I'd be losing my cargo ships again, which would hurt me in terms of money. And we will be able to get submarines quite soon as well. So we may hang off just for a little tiny bit of time there. Barcelona's now finished its monument, which is great. Let us go for a... We don't particularly need the harbour. It doesn't have an awful lot of anything here in Barcelona, actually. It seems to be quite a poor city. Manufacturing isn't too bad. But I think what we will do is go for a... Let us go for a harbour and then a seaport, because we can try and use these to pump out more ships if we need to. That will be useful when we're dealing with the Incans later on, who I was going to take out sort of after Sweden, but I think we may be leaving those until last. Should probably leave this ship of the line here just for defence more than anything. You guys have pretty much done everything that you can do, really. There's not an awful lot of point keeping them here. There we go. There's probably not an awful lot of point sending them anywhere else. I'm going to automate them. The chances are they'll probably just run into trouble and get killed. But I'll just leave them to go and do their own thing. If I see them start building roads everywhere, I will disband them, because that will be a little pointless. So, yeah, there's still quite a few Mongolian privateers around, but they do seem to be heading over towards Kathmandu. So let's just let everything keep moving around where it wants to for the time being. I think what we're going to do, though... Yeah, I'm actually going to leave you here. So let's move on to the next turn. Who is Spain denouncing? Right, you want to trade with me. I'm going to accept it for now, because I'll get some money for a few turns. Right, now he's being quite douchey here with Kathmandu. Although... Kathmandu may actually be... Oh no, he's just suddenly brought a lot more stuff in. I was about to say that Kathmandu can probably really thin out his navy at this point. But I think Kathmandu's doing okay for now. Of course, my ships are quite a distance away, even though I can cover a lot of ground in a short time. But Kathmandu has certainly been able to take out one of his ships. Of course, I could start donating some of my ships off the line to Kathmandu. But let's see what we can do. So Edinburgh has finished a ship of the line. We have yet another. What are we going to do here? Let's get a windmill going so we can get a bit more production. We've got another ship of the line here, and we are definitely going to take you up and around and get you over near Kathmandu if we can. This is the other problem as well. Sometimes you find yourself getting into unnecessary wars, and that's then problematic because you've got to deal with multiple fronts. So one ship of the line is enough to keep that pinned down. So this may be a good time for me to try and move in on the Mongolians. It's still going to take me quite a few turns to get down here, though, unfortunately. You're going to do the same thing as well. Obviously, we have got to play defensive a little bit as well. I will try and liberate some of these other city-states, because you did take quite a few of them out. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go on to the next turn. Unit needs orders. I'm almost half tempted at this point to just declare on him, but I want to wait for a little while. He can't move anywhere now because something's in the hex that he was travelling to. So let's just get him around there. And you can just sit that one out. Well, Spain wants to take peace, but make peace, but I don't see any point in doing that at all because we've already almost got them destroyed. Obviously, Kathmandu's going to lose a few units here, but while he's firing at units, he's not directly attacking Kathmandu, which means its health can recover a little. If he's just going to waste turns trying to bombard land units. Of course, he needs to clear these out so he can try and land his ground troops. And he's taking quite a bit of damage, actually. I mean, this could be good for me because he's essentially thinning out his navy here. He's still got more ships, though. I'm sure we can do something about this. I would like to get some more of my ships of the line in place first. I think what I am going to do, because I'm not concentrating on Helsinki right away, and there's Kathmandu taking out yet another one of his boats. Oh, pirates. Looks like Melbourne's dealing with that. That could go either way. Okay, stuff to be done. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is take this ship of the line and move it right up here, because at least then it can attack these two hexes, which is good for me. Production can be chosen at Graz. It's finished doing its bank, so let us get a... What do we like for iron? Not bad. Is it worth having another ship of the line? It probably is, just so we've got a bit more that we can get over there quickly and attack with. Adopt a policy. Well, we could go for exploration. We could get a Great Admiral and +2 movement for all Great Admirals. I'm not sure if we necessarily need the Admirals, to be honest, if they're going to give us that much benefit. An extra 1 gold for each harbour, seaport and lighthouse. Well, we are going to start running out of people to trade with. And that does eventually let us get treasure fleets. Is it worth us going into anything else? Commerce will boost gold output in the capital city by 25%, which could be very useful. Land trade routes isn't something we're particularly interested in. Can't get an ideology yet, so no need to worry about that. Come back. Is there anything else here that is going to be any more useful to us? I honestly... don't think there is. We could go to rationalism, of course, and try and get better science, which is a possibility. But I think we're going to go for merchant navy first. We've gone up from 124 to 158 gold, so it has helped. Elections rigged. Elections rigged. You are going to continue to fire on Seville. That privateer probably can't make it in one... Oh, it can. Wow. Super fast privateers. There's Seville gone. So Seville is now ours. And that is the end of Spain. We are going to... It's got 3 great works in it, so I think we're going to have it as a puppet for the time being. Not too bothered about it, though. It does have another manufactory, though, which is quite nice. You've taken your turn because you have fired. So I think what I'm going to do now... Let's just have a quick look over here and see what we've got going on. Obviously, we're going to lose a lot of trade routes if we do this. I don't think they've got enough there to take Kathmandu on this turn. So I'm going to let this turn play out. And then hopefully Kathmandu will be able to do enough damage to some of these boats to thin them out. And then on the next turn, hopefully I can move in and give them some grief. Where are you going, if anywhere at all? Can we get you around and into this fight in a timely fashion? 3 turns. It's probably not bad. So the Swedish might be our easiest and final target at the rate things are going. So there's Mongolia moving all of their ships around. And a few land units as well. Wonder if he's getting suspicious at seeing all of my fleet suddenly move towards him. Do you know what, Germany? Get over it. You're at the bottom of the scoreboard. Nobody really cares about your opinion in this particular game. So it's all about the Now, the Mongolians have still got a lower score than Sweden, which is really odd because the Mongolians have an awful lot of land, and they've taken an awful lot of city-states as well. Well, they are about to lose quite a bit of their army. So, we've got a city connection established. That's Seville. That's all linked up, which is nice. We had a deal where we were gold and copper. Or we were selling copper, I think, to Sweden. Can we renew that deal? He is guarded, of course, so it may not be possible, but I will speak to him anyway. You wanted my copper, did you not? Will you give me anything for it? No. See, we're into a position now where the AI is just not interested. We're too much of a warmonger. That's because we took out Spain, which is another reason why you probably shouldn't wipe out civilizations completely, because you get a much higher warmonger penalty for completely wiping out a civilization than you would for just taking their capital city. May not be important to you, but if you're relying on trade, it very well could be. Let's go for a bit more production here in London. We have another ship of the line which is going to maneuver into position. Nottingham has finished its trebuchet, which it doesn't really need now, to be quite honest. We'll have to move that in a second, but let's get ourselves a market, because we're going to need to supplement the gold very shortly. Berlin has finished its workshop. Let us get a seaport going here, actually. Unit needs orders. Now, I think I might do a little bit of exploration with you. No, I really shouldn't be, but I need to have a look around and see what Mongolia has, so that I can try and deal with it. Also, it gives us a much clearer view of Stockholm now. Let's have a quick look at the demographics, actually. Oh, no, that's diplomacy. Let's have a quick look at the demographics and see how things are going. Why Sweden seems to have a much better score than the Mongolians. I mean, Sweden actually has the lowest tech out of everybody at the moment. And Austria's still top, oddly enough. The Incans definitely have the biggest army, so that is something that we do have to be very careful with. So, not too sure where Stockholm is getting most of their points from. They seem to be doing well nonetheless. Might as well move you that last one hex. We know they've got another city up here, of course, as well as the one they had down there. So, okay, let's have a look. Now, if we declare war here, we are going to lose a lot of units. Well, we're not going to lose a lot of units, but we're going to take a fair bit of damage. Is it worth it? Is it worth going for Mongolia now? And the reason I ask this is because they are one of the few, Genghis Khan is one of the few leaders who will still deal with you even though you're considered a warmonger. And it might be sensible leaving him till last, particularly as the Incans are probably the biggest threat soldier-wise. Although it would be nice to really thin them out. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm not too sure how far away my ships of the line are. They are certainly getting here. You know what? Screw it. We're going to do it. We're going to bite the bullet. We are going to declare war. So we're going to be losing 9 gold per turn and 5 iron. But he's going to be losing 4 gold per turn, and he's going to be losing gems, silver, furs, iron, horses, coal, aluminium, silk. We've got, whose trade routes are those? They are 3 trade routes. So we are going to lose 3 trade routes against him, sadly. But never mind, eh? So, lots of notification spam, which we will get rid of there, because it's messing up all of my screen. So, let's start thinning him out. Right, we need to get rid of those. We want to take Babylos again if we can as well. Let us move you over here, because then you are out of reach of Babylon, which is really good for us. You are going to sink that straight away. We are going to try and liberate these city-states as well, which will be good, because it will put them nicely on our side. We do have a trebuchet here, which unfortunately isn't quite close enough to reach that, but on the next turn it might be able to. So what can we do here? Well, we can't see over that forest, so putting you there was a bit of a stupid idea, really. But ways and means, what you got to remember is that Ironclad's very, very powerful unit. It is a melee unit. Still couldn't manage to take that stupid caravel out, which is quite ridiculous. But we are... It doesn't matter if we take a bit of damage. You know, it's war. We'd prefer not to lose units. What you've got to remember, though, is the Ironclads are very fresh units, as in they don't actually have any sort of upgrades or promotions at this point. So, you know, if they do happen to get destroyed, it's not the end of the world, though I would prefer to keep them alive. That privateer is going to heal up. We've got ships of the line here, of course, and they also have a fair few units around York, so we're certainly going to do our best to try and take these out if we can. Can't quite reach with you, so let's move forwards a little. Now, Zanzibar's not really for or against anyone. Not sure if they're attacking Zurich, but we are going to give... Now, who are they allied with? Austria. We need another 76 influence to surpass Austria. I could... Well, I couldn't do it, actually. I could give them 70s, about as much as I could get with them. Of course, wiping out Austria would solve that problem, but I can't really do that right now. Trebuchet here should already be set up, but it's not going to be able to reach anybody at this particular point. Just having a look around, see if I've got any other ships, because sometimes if I'm not using them, I do just park them up and put them on guard, which means, of course, that I could have a ship sitting there that is able to attack, but isn't doing anything. I think I'm going to leave that privateer there for the time being. Do have a privateer in Vienna, of course, but that's providing me with a little bit of defence here. Try and use my ships of the line as much as possible. Let's go on to the next turn and see what happens. Obviously, things could get very messy here now. We only have one trade route left, which is a little bit of a shame. So he's now firing at my Ironclads. My Ironclads will actually take quite a bit of a battering, to be fair. They are very highly armoured, and a ship of the line will outclass a frigate any day of the week. The only time they're going to beat frigates is if they get to battleships, because battleship is better than... sorry, when their frigates upgrade to battleships, they'll be better than ship of the line. But until then, I definitely have the advantage, and I should be able to get ship of the line, the battleship before anybody else anyway. So we should be all good there. We have researched refrigeration, so we are now in the modern era, and this is fantastic because this means we can produce ourselves some submarines, which we are definitely want to be doing. I think what I might do actually with these ships of the line is concentrate on trying to take these city-states, because that is certainly going to hurt Mongolia quite badly, because most of their resources and allies seem to be these city-states. So we're going to move down. We're going to thin out these boats. I've got a privateer down here that's ready to rush in when it finally goes down. Let's just have a look at the technology tree now. We really should get chemistry because we need to start backfilling this in. There isn't particularly anything here that I need. Replaceable parts would be nice, so we could have the Great War Infantry, and then that does lead on to electronics. I mean, we could do that. We could potentially carry on ignoring this for now, and we could rush into electronics, which would mean getting replaceable parts now, then flight, which is good because we'd have some bombers, and then we'd get battleships. I think that is the direction that we are going to go in right now. This guy gets promoted. We are going to give you boarding party, so you do more damage against enemy ships. There we go. Looks like Kathmandu is fairly safe. Now, we might take a battering here. In fact, I know we'll take a battering here, but we are going to plunder your trade route, and we are going to... God, I love the amount of movement that we have playing as England. You're going to go and heal up there. What else do we have? Privateer, you're going to sit there and hopefully take back Byblos later on. You can... Well, we can actually move in there because Kiev is angry with us, but are we at war? You're at war? No, we are at war with Kiev, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to plunder that trade route. And then we're going to head out of their territory and just sort of shrug and go, yeah, so what? So there we go. We're going to have a look around. This is one of my good ships, of course. I really don't want to lose it, but unless he suddenly comes out with, like, 3 or 4 ships, I should be safe. So, we can do some damage with you. And there's one of your ships at the bottom of the ocean. Now, of course, I still have a few privateers and things around here, and I have my ship of the line. Got to be careful, though, because privateers are quite nasty. So, you don't have a range of 3 either, do you, this one? No, that's a shame. I was thinking about parking it down here, because that would stop him from being able to attack me with multiple privateers, because the straits are too narrow. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to move here anyway. I can always nudge forwards on the next turn. The point here is he can't attack me with multiple privateers here because he can only get on 1 hex. What are you going to do? Actually, what I actually should have done, and what I actually can do, is move you up. And you can take a shot at that privateer. Now this one is in a little more danger because it can be attacked from 2 hexes, but if they put a privateer in these hexes, they're going to have 2 ships of the line firing at them. I am aware they've got a frigate down there. We'll see what he's willing to do with that. That trebuchet is just going to sit there for now. It doesn't need to do a lot. And let's get this ship of the line into the fight. Let's move you up here, actually, because you can facilitate in bombarding the land units. Certainly thin them out a little bit. Apparently we've still got some units. You might as well set up for a ranged attack anyway. In fact, no, better idea. Actually move there. We'll set you up for a ranged attack on the next turn, and we can just use you to bombard the coast if anything comes around there, though. I think we should be safe. So we've wiped out a good portion of Genghis's navy there. I still think he's got a few bits and pieces left, but he's certainly reconsidering his position anyway. We have a great engineer as well. Got a trade route plundered, which Genghis Khan plundered, hardly surprising. Now we've moved beyond the industrial era, we can actually pick a ideology. We might as well do it. We are the first civilization to do so, which means whichever one we pick, they're all free. We will get 2 free tenants. Now, we're obviously going for a domination victory, and we want to be looking for this little symbol here, the 2 crossed swords and the skull. Both order and autocracy suit this quite nicely. Let's look what we get for them. If we are looking at order, we can get an increased rate that great people are generated, better happiness. Gold cost of purchasing buildings is reduced by 33%, which is quite nice if you want to build, if you want to buy things very quickly. Attack bonuses for fighting in friendly territory. Spies twice as likely to kill enemy spies during an attempt to steal technology. A lot of nice stuff in there. Let's have a quick look at autocracy and just see what we get in the wounded military units. Inflict 25% more damage than normal. Gold of purchasing units is reduced because we are more likely to want to build units fast. Militaristic city-states grant units twice as often. Spy steal technology twice the normal rate. Local happiness from castles, arsenals and military bases. Local happiness from every national wonder. I think probably order is the way to go. So we're going to pick order. And then we are going to choose our 2 free tenants. So I think what we are going to have is it was autocracy that I wanted, wasn't it? I've just gone and clicked the wrong thing. Hurrah! Wonderful. Can't change the ideology now. I've stuffed that up. Oh dear. Anyway, doesn't matter because I can still make it work. So what we are going to go for is gold from purchasing buildings. We'll take that. Can't believe I just clicked on the wrong one. That's such a stupid thing to do. And we don't really have many workshops and factories and things at the moment. Let's get the 15% attack bonus when fighting in friendly territory. It'll give us a little bit more in the way of defense. Actually, should have gone for autocracy there. I just wasn't thinking clearly. Do have an extra spy, of course, now. Where do we have our spies currently? We've got one in Melbourne. We have one in Zurich. And the other one's trying to steal from Salzburg. Let us go for Yerevan, actually. Okay, unit needs orders. What have we got? Right, now the plan here was to try and liberate Byblos, which shouldn't be too difficult. Right, you're going to need to move closer. Do you not have the range buff? You don't have the range buff, do you? Well, I'm going to move you closer anyway, just to assist. I can always pull it back, and of course moving it within 2 hexes does give us the blockade against them. Let's just have a look what else we've got. As you can see, they have moved some of their units away. Here is their injured privateer, which I am going to fully take advantage of and wipe it out. The less ships they have, the better as far as I'm concerned. And I think the privateers are probably more dangerous against my ships of the line than their frigates are, so we'll do that. We'll try and mop up the rest of these where we can. A little bit of a shame, actually. I could have gone and pillaged that that cargo route, but not the end of the world. Let us carry on bombarding the ground units here. And we're just going to try and bombard them back to the Stone Age, really. We're going to continue to use you to scout around. Got a great admiral there, that's nice to know. Of course, they also have a frigate. How much movement do we have left? Got a range of 3. I could still get to here and fire on their frigate, so that's what I'm going to do. Out of range of their city. Just took a fair bit of its health away. This privateer is just going to sit there and just sort of guard Seville. It doesn't really need to. Great engineer, what are we going to do with you? I think for the time being, nothing really. And the reason I say that is because I don't really have any wonders or anything on the go that I need to insta-build. Right, let us get these ironclads into my territory. That will allow them to heal up. Not that they really need to. And this ship of the line, what was it you were doing? You were obviously firing at something over here. I could also send you up here and try and put a bit more pressure on those guys up there. And I actually think that is what I will do. So we'll try and take Hamburg out. Now you see what it does say here, that I will receive a minor warmonger penalty if I capture the city, but I will receive a major liberation bonus, which erases previous warmonger penalties. So what I might even do is take this and just give it back to Germany. Because I'm not at war with Germany, and if I take it and try and do anything else with it anyway, it's just going to end up, you know, causing me issues. But at least I get to show you guys how that works. You are going to heal up, because obviously it's in Berlin's territory now, so it can get a little heal while it is there. You're going to set up for a ranged attack. Apparently a unit needs orders, and it's you. Oh, of course you do, because you only use one of your turns. And we'll do one more turn. I think one more turn and then we will end the video. So Byblos is attacking my ship of the line. Obviously I completely expected that. That is not an unusual thing. Should have brought my other ship of the line down, the one that had the +3 to its range. Or the +1 to its range, giving it a total range of 3. Okay, so we can afford to take another hit with this. And we're going to take a lot more hits with these guys. Again, you can see we get a minor warmonger penalty for a capture, but a major liberation bonus for liberating. We've done a fair bit of damage to that. Not going to move the privateer in just yet. Edinburgh has finished its production of a windmill, so we are now going to build a submarine, and I do love submarines. They are absolutely brilliant. Vienna is finished its public school, and I think you might as well build a monument. We'll try and keep the culture pressure on, especially as we now have an ideology. And we want to try and take Hamburg, but it does mean that we're going to have to do something about the ships that they have. Now, how far... Oh, wow, they actually have a lot more up there than I was expecting. That could potentially be messy. Though I think we can move here and still fire on this privateer. And what can I do with these guys potentially to keep them safe? I think we can move up to... No, not in one turn. Can't really get anywhere that's within range of that privateer, but out of range of the city. What you've got to remember, of course, is the city can only fire on one unit at a time. And I definitely do have the advantage here, so I'm going to press that while I can. We'll thin their navy out, and if we have to come back and recover a little, then that is what we'll do. We're going to continue to use you to bombard these land units over here. It does seem like a little bit of a waste, but we will take Ormus back as well, of course, at some point. So what else have we got going on? Okay, he's actually moved that ship out, which is good for me because it means I don't have to get any closer to that city. And if he tries to run, I'll easily be able to chase him down. So that's going to be one less unit we will have to worry about. Here's their capital, of course, which is going to be our goal at some point. Do I really want to do anything with you? Is there going to be, at any point, a wonder that I need to build and rush? Not really. But I'm going to keep him for later anyway, because there's bound to be something that appears later on that I need to rush. So you're going to sleep for the time being. And that's pretty much all I can do on that turn. So we've now wiped out Spain. Sweden get a reprieve for a short time. Hopefully within the next video or two we'll be able to take Byblos, Ragusa and Ormus and liberate them. And we're also going to try and get Hamburg done as well. Give that back to Germany, which will give us a little bit more favour with them. That'll certainly weaken Mongolia's empire and hopefully allow me to get closer to their capital. And then it's a case of dealing with the Incans and the Swedish. But until then, we're just going to have to... sit around in the water and wait. Hope you guys are still enjoying the series. I think this has actually been quite a good game. I'm enjoying it an awful lot. But I'll see you next time. And until then, goodbye for now.